Out of a message, my money na kwaba at the back. Ghanatube sort of breaking news. Case and I will to the other four. So breaking news way. Breaking news at chess. One case I will do one theater other four. John Dramani Mahama to say Ameno Kasano wa cancel 1 district, 1 factory. 1 district, 1 factory. More money says our policy no. And another Danko Akufuado MPP for no modesa policy we buy. John Dramani Mahama buy no see. SUBCRIBE new pastor. You see Ameno Kasano John Dramani Mahama wa cancel 1 district, 1 factory. The former court na yakwa just say wenina echemu e Ghanatube na isia.
Court and turn attention to government business because the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth SUBCRIBE, has confirmed that government has cancelled the 1 district, 1 factory initiative and industrialization policy that was established by the past administration. Along with the cancellation of this policy, she indicated that the policy failed to provide the necessary incentives, but added that the ministry has ventured into agro-processing parks under the 24-hour economy policy. Now, the Techima North legislator touted the government's flagship 24-hour economy policy as the game changer and one that seeks to make the country more vibrant.
Mr. Speaker, I want to draw my colleagues' kind attention to the fact that as of now, there is no policy as 1D, 1F. I thank you. But in the absence of 1D, 1F, the ministry is into agro-processing parks. And so if you listen to the 24-hour economy launch, the 24-hour economy is the new thing on the block, the game changer, that which seeks to make Ghana very vibrant, irrespective of the minute of the hour, the time of the day. And we are doing agro parks. And these agro parks, which seeks to be a great game changer, especially in the agro processing zones, are being worked on to ensure that we are able to produce more around the clock for import substitution and for export, for foreign exchange earning, and more importantly, to create jobs for our team youth. I thank you very much.
The Trade Minister there. Now let's have a quick chat about this revelation by Elizabeth, or from Elizabeth SUBCRIBE, the Minister on the House on Tuesday. We'll now speak with development economist Nicholas Isaka Gbana. I mean, we're not surprised that there is a lack of continuity here, but I'd like to hear from you what your reaction is to the termination of this policy. A good move? Nicholas, we can't hear you. You'd have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. I'm not surprised because in the 2025 budget statement, the Minister of Finance had already given an indication that 1D, 1F would not be continued. But I must say that there is some kind of continuity under the 24-hour economy policy. So, for instance, if you notice, I think about 2 months ago, the same Ministry of Trade and Industry put out an advert for people to come and take over management, control, and operations of 1D, 1F factories in certain specific districts. So as much as they've cancelled it as another, and they've cancelled 1D, 1F, there's still going to be some amount of continuity, because otherwise they will not be putting out such an advert to say that people should bid to take over some of those factories that have been built under 1D, 1F. Let me also add that if you look at the 1D, 1F, it was covering 6 sectors: agro-processing, textiles and garments, pharmaceuticals, paper and products, packaging. Essentially, if you look at the 24-hour economy policy proposal, the MIG-24 component, which deals with manufacturing, we still have the same sectors: agro-processing, textiles and garments, pharmaceuticals. Second point to note is that under 1D, 1F, there were 3 core incentives for industry. One was tax exemptions. Second was concessionary financing. from the likes of Ghana Exim Bank. The third element was interest rate subsidies. Once again, if you look at 24-hour economy, the document, you have 4 key incentives: lease-free land, import duty exemptions, access to finance.
Other for breaking news where the name of the buy one case out in seminar course John Dramani Mahama na buying NDC for by see ana me no kasa no Akufo-Addo eye ne 1 district 1 factory ya cancel ni nyina because yes say sanya manema we nyina is included in the 24-hour economy. John Dramani Mahama ni 24-hour economy no the buy no yes say 1 district 1 factory ni nyina shim enti see amena okasa ne John Dramani Mahama wa cancel eye 1 district 1 factory see ano odi ni nyina she 24-hour economy no odofo we and breaking news case here cause so be nyina brew e wo Ghanatube of man ko na yentu ansem ne so e wo Ghanatube haya ne mbadisia
and what they call centralized services. So fundamentally, I don't see very much of a difference. The key issue would lie in implementation. Of course, 1D1F implementation ran into some difficulties. That is a separate conversation. So it's essentially how the implementation of 24-hour economy will be done to ensure that some of the lessons from the failure of 1D1F are learned, and we don't repeat the same mistakes.
I'd have us get into that, but I mean, from what you're saying, we're looking at a rather similar playbook titled differently. What good is a name change to the government, to the people?
Well, I think you should understand that it's also policy is also very much political. I mean, let's face it. So a party contests an election on the manifesto, they must present something new. I mean, of course, if you are contesting an election and you came to tell the voters that you are going to continue the policies of the party that you are hoping to overthrow from power through the ballot box, then why should voters vote for you? So let's understand the politics about it. But like I said, fundamentally, by way of sectors, by way of incentives, I don't really see much of a difference. I mean, the big new thing in 24 economy is the Volta Economic Corridor. That is entirely new. But industrial parks are not new. There's already an existing World Bank project, the Ghana Economic Transformation Project, which started in 2019, would end in June 2026. That is doing what they call special economic zones. Masi, Sekedi, Shama, Tema, Busa, Sabluga. Now that project is ongoing. I mean, the ministry hasn't said they are cancelling that. That is ongoing. And that in a sense also feeds into the 24-hour economy. So for me, I'm more concerned about the implementation. How the implementation will be. Right,
so let's talk about the implementation, right? Compared to the 1D1F, what are the pitfalls? What are the blind spots that this government under the 24-hour economy, which mimics some of the things that you've mentioned already, and that the 1D1F should be avoiding? What should they be avoiding?
Number one is who qualifies for the tax exemptions. If you recall, in 2024, there was a big political tussle in Parliament over tax exemptions for 42 companies worth $335 million. The then minority, even 3 minority members, some of whom are ministers today, went to the Supreme Court to challenge that. And there have been all kinds of stories flying around. Of course, we don't have evidence that some of these incentives were being sold out. So the critical issue is to ensure that there's openness, there's fairness, there's transparency as to who qualifies. There are no underhand dealings. That for me is number one. Number two, when it comes to concessionary financing, of course, we've all heard stories about how Ghana Exim money has been given to people who are politically exposed under the previous government, which is not a subject of Yoko investigations. We don't have to repeat that under 24 economy. So for me, these are the fundamental issues in implementation. Nothing really outside the box, just very basics.
But you've seen the 24-hour economy policy document and how, the plan for implementation will be. Does it give you hope that what you seek, what you talk about now, will be done for an effective implementation?
Well, I'm hopeful. 1D1F started with a lot of hope. As always, our governments come in with a lot of hope. We all are hopeful. So at this stage, I'll say that I'm hopeful, just the same way I was hopeful when 1D, 1F was launched. And so let's just hope that they get it right and that they learn lessons from the failures of the past and don't go and repeat those same mistakes.
Indeed, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Nicholas Isakagbana is a development expert. We've been discussing the outgone now, 1D, 1F, and to be replaced by aspects of the 24-hour economy. Let's turn attention to labor now, because organized labor is urging government to go beyond this.
When breaking news, Casey, I told you I'm beginning in our Ghana to say. Aya one district, one factory. Nanado Danko Akufo any MPP for the Bayano. John Dramani Mahama is here, Meno Kasan, wa cancel in out of 4 years. 24-hour economy no as service issues in out of way. And a breaking news, Cassie, I told you, I said, John Dramani Mahama, near brace economy no, or bad balance, and that is a Bibiako ye come out 4. When a breaking news about told you I'm meeting in our bro or Ghana to the former fees and like no subscribe and my channel notification bell so mine. Send a bear, bring a baby, drop your content. I will when I need to pan with him for her. And I made in 7 in our base. I will Ghana to Macam in Amidamunas.